Meeting for July 6th, 2026 is called to order. Could we have the roll call, please?
Member Peterson?
Here.
Member Sparks Gillis?
Here.
Member Ziegler? Vice Chair Adler?
Here.
Chair Williams?
Here. Should stand for the pledge. Aaron, would you lead us, please?
Sure. Repeat with me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anybody want to change the order of the agenda? Okay, the way it is?
Not I.
I never get it right. Public comment. I don't see anybody here. Is there anybody online?
This the attorney.
So we'll close public comment and go to the consent items.
I'll move approval of the consent items.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None. Passes 4-0. One absent. Any ex parte communications you'd like to reveal?
I just have a brief one. Commissioner Ziegler and I have both been on the UBEC Urban Growth Boundary Committee, so we've met multiple times over the last few months, and that committee kind of reached its conclusions, and those recommendations will be passed along to council.
Anybody else have anything? No? So, public hearings, nothing. Discussion items. Item 6A. Could we have the staff report, please?
Discussion and possible action to approve Planning Commission Resolution Number 2610, making the general plan consistency determination for the City of Solvang Capital Improvement Program for fiscal year 26-27.
That's it?
All right.
Short?
Good evening, members of the commission and members of the public. My name is Wendy Berry. I'm the Administrative Services Director, and I prepared the staff report and the resolution and the capital improvement plan for your discussion tonight. The City of Solvang's capital improvement plan is for 26-27. The Planning Commission's role is to determine the conformity to the capital improvement program with the city's general plan pursuant to the Government Code Sections 65401 and 02. The program approval of the program will include the specific projects, and the funding and the date of those projects will be determined by City Council. The capital improvement program includes transportation and road improvement projects, alternative transportation projects, facility and parks projects, stormwater maintenance and improvement projects, water projects, and sanitary sewer and wastewater treatment plant projects. The proposed CIP is exempt from CEQA exempt from CEQA guidelines, Section 15061B3, and Public Resources Code, Section 21065. So with that, I'll pass it back to the commission for discussion.
Anybody have questions of the staff report?
All right, real quick, Wendy. So when I look at it, I know it's 10-year plan or whatever it is, right?
Yes.
10-year plan. And then when you get further into it, some of them don't have a date, they just have it at the end. But some, like, I'm looking at, I don't know, restroom parking lot, no, that's not, yeah. So restroom parking lot, ADA transition, 74 grand. That's already scheduled for like in 2 years, if I line that up, or whenever, I mean, it's planned.
Yeah, they're scheduled for the date that they fall under.
Yep.
Solvang Park, that's scheduled for 27, 28, 28, 29, 29, 30.
Yep.
And they are scheduled, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will get completed because it's based on the needs and the cost to do it. We are,
Something like the City Hall, $10 million, that's all the way out. It's
Yes.
like, we want to do that. It's a
yes,
goal.
yes,
Okay.
it's a goal.
Yep.
And you'll see with the utility, the water, sanitary, and wastewater, we have to have those projects in the CIP so we can determine the rates for our water and sewer. So it's a planning guide and a planning tool. And the reason why we just do the 5 years is because logically it's hard to predict the revenue and the trends for like 5+ years out. So we put it on there so we have a record of it. So we can plan and guide, and, for the people, that come in next, then they'll say, oh, yeah, okay, this was on the CIP. And so, we won't lose sight of it as well.
Perfect. A specific question, I could not find a map. It was funny to say where Reservoir 1, 2, and 3 are. You'd think I'd know it. You get online, it says, for security reasons, we don't put it on a map.
Yeah.
Which, okay, now it makes sense. But where's 1, 2, and 3 reservoirs? I mean, there's the one at
Security
the...
reasons, I can't answer.
Yeah.
I could tell you, but I'd have to shoot you.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, one's on LSL Road, one's the big tank.
Chalk Hill.
Chalk Hill. That's
and
the big-
on,
big one.
There's one out on the LSL Ranch,
Oh,
and I don't remember.
one at the top of LSL Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the 3.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the LSL Ranch.
Yeah.
one. Got it. Those all my questions. Thank you.
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Under Public Works Department, Parks and Recreation,
What page are you on?
I am on page 9, top of page 9. So we're almost at 500,000 on 26, 27. We jump 300,000 or so, 27, 28, and then we take a huge jump up to 3,145,000 in 28, 29. Is that because that's when all the work is hopefully being done?
No, that's because of the Park and Rec Master Plan that hasn't been completed yet. And so we're doing, for 26, 27, for the parks, we have to do some scheduled stuff so we can get the second part of our Prop 68 grant.
Okay.
And then in 27, 28, they have a few additional repairs and maintenance that we want to do. So when we determined when staff went through the CIP, we decided, okay, we have a lot of projects down there. We need to do needs, what we want to do, and then, needs, what we have to do, and then what we want to do. So in 28, 29, with the Parks and Rec, that's what we want to do, and that's regarding the Park and Rec Master Plan.
And then the $1 million jump in 30, 31, that's part of that wish list?
$1 million jump.
We've got a $1 million jump from 2930 to 3031.
Yes, yeah, it's
Yeah,
all the
same
Park
thing. Okay.
Park and Rec Master Plan. And it's, to redesign Solvang Park, it's to redesign Hans Christian Andersen Park.
Right.
If you follow, the Park and Rec Master Plan is still in a draft, but you can attend, you can hear the Park and Rec Master Plan updates at the council meeting,
Right.
and they'll fill you more in on
Yeah.
like what the designs are actually going to be like once that completed.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions on page 2. I was trying to locate alternative transportation projects in the general plan. I couldn't find it. And facilities and parks are not, they're separate in the general plan, not together. So I'm just curious how you arrived at this breakout of various things. It looks to me like, the parking and transit parking and charging, that could all be under facilities. Why was it broken out as something, as an alternative? And did I just miss that there's an alternative transportation projects in the general plan?
So alternative transportation projects are various or trails, bus projects. So bike paths, etc. So those are the big. Those are alternative transportation projects. So you see in the alternative. So as you can see, the stuff about acquiring a new bus, revamping the process of fares. Those would fall under the alternative transportation.
I would agree. But going down to the next ones down, well, first of all, I'm sure on the second one, we're not talking about fair pavement system as payment, right? It's contactless fair pavement system. It should be payment system, I think.
Payment system, correct? Yes.
Second item under,
So sidewalk infill, again, those items that encourage not utilizing your car. So sidewalks, bike paths, et cetera, those are considered alternative transportation.
so, and I don't disagree with those, but the parking lot 3, 5, and 72 tasks that you have in here, why are they not under facilities and parks projects?
So for parking lot 5, it's specifically a charging, and then parking lot 3 again is expansion. In that aspect, we're still looking at what additional accommodations we can make as a part of the potential expansion of parking lot 3 to promote alternative transportation. So those are the two items there, and then lot 72. That centers around potential improvements that are there and potential shuttle buses that would be utilized to help shuttle folks from the parking lot to the downtown.
Okay. So when you go down to item C, you've got electric vehicle charging facilities. That is different or not a category that the parking lot 5 transit charging should be put under?
We can make modifications as part of the recommendation to slot those items appropriately where you feel best.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with any of these projects, but I just couldn't figure out where it fit into the general plan because the titles are different than general plan, or how it fit into the goals. And I don't know, maybe it's just me and the rest of you didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't catch it, so.
Agreed.
So as far as everybody knows, this all is consistent with the general plan?
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Just, on page 23, and I find this really interesting. I think it's great. Under 26, 27, we do have two parking. One is perhaps the expansion of parking lot 3, buying that little lot on 4th. The other is some temporary parking improvements that we just spoke about with the lot 72. And those are scheduled coming up soon, which is, again, a good thing. And I just throw this out. You guys are smarter than I am. But I look at parking lot 3. You guys have it listed probably, is it an acquisition of $700,000? And I look at the lot over here on First Street where the building burned down, and I know it's on the market for, I think, $2 million. I'm like, that seems like 4 times as big, and it's flatter, and it might be a good, I'm sure you guys looked at it as a potential parking lot. We've also looked at it as potential expansion of City Hall. Maybe it's also something that could be bought, temporary parking, and if we ever do the $10 million City Hall. Only because this is 7, that's 2, that's 3 times you can probably get more parking over there. I've never done it. I just happened to drive around today and went, that seems a lot bigger, like 4 times as big. But anyway, I just.
It's about
throwing that
2.5 times the size.
What is it?
Square footage wise, it's about 2.5 times the
Is
size.
that all it is?
Yeah.
Wow, it seems so much bigger, doesn't it? So then this is a good price over there. No, it's a good call.
Both of those discussions will be on the upcoming council meeting.
Okay, nice.
Okay, and just on the last page where it talks about the attachments, so, attachment A, and they're not labeled, was the capital improvement program. I suppose that's what all these numbers are. And then attachment B was supposed to be general plan and capital improvement plan consistency matrix. That wasn't in my packet.
Yeah, that was inadvertently left off, and I can verbally go over those goals. So LU4, to protect and promote the enhanced and village area, those fall under alternative transportation. Goal LU7 is to ensure and preserve adequate space throughout the city for public institutional uses, facilities, and parks projects. Mobility, goal 1, to provide a street network to move people and goods safely and efficiently, and those fall under the transportation road improvement projects. Mobility 2, promote safe and alternatives to motorized transportation that meet the needs of all city residents, and those fall under the alternative transportation projects that are proposed. Mobility 3 is to provide an adequate supply of parking to meet the needs of residents, so that falls under the facilities and parks projects, as we've sort of discussed this evening. Mobility 4 is a safe network of streets that reduce automobile dependence, and that falls under transportation road improvements and projects. Mobility 6 is to participate in public transportation system that is safe and convenient and efficient. That falls under both the capital transportation road improvements and alternative transportations. And then maintain adequate level of service in the city's water system needs. It falls under, obviously, water projects. And then PFS2 is to operate and maintain the city's sanitary sewer system and wastewater treatment plant, and that falls under sanitary sewer and wastewater treatment plant projects. So those are and then finally PFS8, high quality, cost effective park maintenance, falls under both facilities, parks projects, as well as water projects for the drip irrigation system portion. So those are the consistency findings for those goals.
Okay. So just out of curiosity, why was that left out of the package?
It was a mistake.
Oh. I'm surprised nobody in the public picked up on that. I'm disappointed that nobody in the public picked up on that.
But that will be included as a part of the council packet.
Okay, and then there's also not a copy of the draft resolution in here either, at least not in my packet. No, I didn't have it either.
Is it online?
I went online and looked at under the agenda, and it was the same thing as what's here.
Taylor, you want to comment on that?
Oh, there we go. Now I can unmute. It looks as though the resolution, an incorrect link was associated with the post to the agenda. So the resolution, the draft resolution, was not included in the agenda materials. You are still able to make the consistency findings absent a draft resolution. We've done that before. So you would approve, your motion would be a motion to find that the CIP is consistent with the city's general plan, and a resolution will follow.
Okay, any other questions?
I wanted to add a little kind of background to this whole process related to the CIP. So I asked staff to look a little deeper in our capital needs. Historically, we've only looked 5-year horizon. We go through the process for a CIP for a 10-year horizon, but I said, let's look 30 years. We know we have a lot of needs. And so we're working on that. The water utility, Jose did a really good job looking out 30 years. Bridget got to the 10, Jenny got to the 10, so we're going to be building on that. So when this comes back around in a year or so with the looking at the 27-28 budget, we'll have a more extensive look. But we're also doing it because we're getting ready to do mitigation fee update. And all these projects are going to be on the list. So as we look at future development, for instance, one of the things on the list now is the extension of Fjord Drive, which has long been needed, but for political reasons it hasn't gone anywhere. Well, it's on the CIP again. All the concern about some of the projects that you'll be seeing here in the next several months, particularly the one down now South Glen area, as far as another way out of the community, that's a solution. That project should pay its fair share, but it's not in our mitigation fee currently, so they can't, or they wouldn't be required to. The recreation master plan is just being finished. There's a lot of stuff in that you're looking at. Some of it was commented on tonight. So we'll be looking to create, we don't have a recreation mitigation fee. So all new development, any new development isn't paying into a fund that can help pay for new parks or other things. Now, new development can't pay for the backlog or the need that exists currently. They can only pay for future impact and what it's going. So we're looking further down the road. So we got a few hiccups tonight because of some issues, and the director was on vacation when the agenda was published, so it's a little hiccup there. But we're trying to look further out so we can be looking. These are things that should have been talked about 15 or 20 years ago. Those of you that are on the UBEC committee, that have been following that. Those are discussions should have been had 15 or 20 years ago, not now, because what we're doing now is setting the table for the stuff that happens 10, 15, 20 years from now. And so we're trying to be more comprehensive, more thorough, looking ahead, making sure we're collecting the fees at development. The parking in lieu fee is $12,000. The cost of that additional lot, we're getting about 20 spaces out of that. 700,000 divided by 20 is $35,000 per space is what it's actually costing us. Santa Barbara charges more than that. So these are things, it's unfortunate that we haven't, I refer to it with staff as the sins of our fathers. The people that were in our position before us, people that when you're in your positions before us, before you, should have been looking at this. We're doing our best to make that happen now, to make it easier for our future residents of Solvang.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So, but the city council could increase, I suppose, the parking in lieu fees. I mean, they just need to do a little study and then do it and see what the actual cost.
Right, it has to be done by a study, which we've got our proposals in now in response to an RFP.
Okay.
We'll be awarding that contract hopefully on the August 10th meeting. So.
And then talking about the Fjord, because it's 85 or 90 units maybe down there, and we've seen, comments. That's down the road. The Fjord thing is not even on the horizon at this point, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So.
But they will have,
But
they
does
can
that
pay
then
their
hold up a
proportional share. They'll pay their proportional share of the costs associated with that project.
But we have to do that study to get that.
Have to have the study done before they make application, because once they make application, whatever the fees are at that time are what they pay.
Right.
So we're working on it.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, just a comment from the Planning Commission point of view. With the parking fees, the planning commissions in the past have pointed out that they were inadequate. And the city council just has never wanted to address that because they were afraid it would affect development in the city.
That's the common refrain, but the reality is,
It's not reality.
right, people pay it, they're going to come. And, it's counterintuitive in some respects. Well, if the fees are high, then they won't come. Well, they come anyway because they know there's $1 to be made here.
Cost of doing business.
And to your point, Randy, we are really cheap on the parking in lieu fees, yes. I mean, they're surprised that we're this cheap.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'm looking for a motion to find that these are these items are consistent with the general plan?
Pardon, I don't think we've opened this up for public comment yet. So if we could do that.
Oh, okay.
quickly.
Yeah, we did. I thought, well, anyway, I'll reopen it to public comment. There's nobody here. There's nobody online. So with that, we'll close public comment.
Thank you. Just to
And
make sure.
if there are no more comments from the commission, could I get a motion?
So I'll make a motion consistent with our city attorney hasn't told us what we should do. So, motion is the capital improvement program presented tonight is consistent with City of Solvang's general plan, and a resolution will follow.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 4 to 1 person missing. Okay. Any further comments from the planning commission, commissioners?
Actually, I've got one, and I'll be brief, but I'm going to address it to you, Randy, and also to Raphael. I know zoning. I'm thinking of the building that's at the corner of Fifth and Oak, and I said it at the time we approved it. If you don't do something to address what's in zoning about the height of a building, all of Oak Street is going to be 3-story buildings like that. And if that's good with you, okay, but it's not good with me.
I'll make a comment on that too, not that we're discussing it, but you're correct. 35 feet is our maximum, but what happens on lots when they've got a retaining wall of 3 or 4 or 5 feet, I think we tried to address it. We might have addressed it where you measure out from and then down. I can't remember it.
We have, but at the same time, the 35 feet was for Danish designs with that high-pitched roof. It wasn't really for a full 3rd story. Developers are just figuring out they can take advantage of it. And I think that's where we need to correct the zoning as to what that 35 feet is for, and that if it's not going to be a Danish-style building with a 3rd story for residential occupancy, then the height is blank.
And I just want to jump in and make sure if we could bring this item for discussion at a later time, but since it's not on the agenda, to limit these comments to standalone comments as opposed to discussion on the item.
Okay, I've made my point.
So is this something we want to request on a future agenda to discuss this?
Would be nice to discuss that issue specifically in height of buildings. I know we addressed it, general plan and different things and height, and then we have Danish designs within some zones, and we don't have them in other zones, and so that would be a good discussion. Why not, to talk about that, just to fill us in and the public if they're interested.
Okay, so could you put that on a future agenda?
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, Community Development Director report.
All right. So just quickly to address that, and then we'll address it in the future, is yes, we did tinker with the heights. So just previously, prior to 2024, the heights were measured at finished grade. So that basically doesn't take into account the existing heights and grades. That's been changed to average natural grade, so naturally that should then lower the height. So that's already been done and executed. But there are other nuances to discuss regarding density and heights and everything, and we had a pretty in-depth discussion in regards to that at UBEC, as mentioned by Brandon. So we did get a recommendation out from UBEC that's going to go to the council in August, and so it was about five meetings, but we do have a recommendation, and density and heights were part of that discussion.
Great.
As far as the Community Development Department, we do have a DRC meeting this next week. We have a pre-application for a glamping resort located at the old lumber mill site that'll go, as well as 433 Alisal Road, facade improvements, and then 2 signs. You will have an August meeting for your sign ordinance. So we are looking for a recommendation for the planning or to the city council for the sign ordinance, as well as a conditional use permit for a nightclub. And based on what the DRC outcome is, potential development permit for 433 Alisal. So again, that's just dependent on what the DRC direction is. As noted in the discussion from the commissioners, construction did reboot for 425th Street, which is good. As you see, there's a facade on it now, as they've are looking now to quickly finish that up. And then the city has deemed the Alisal Ranch event barn complete, and that's now turning into environmental review. So that'll hopefully come before this body sometime in early fall. And then, as many of you have noted over the last few weeks, you have received correspondence from city staff and residents regarding the Alisal Glen project, sort of as a reminder that there are no formal application has been received, and so they are requesting to be notified. And so we've turned around and acknowledged that we have received those emails and letters, and pointed residents where to sign up for notifications. And then at this point, city staff needs an application to review, and then from there, we need to deem it complete for us to determine the environmental analysis that's needed. So it's actually all contingent on many things that get returned back from us as a part of a completed application to determine what level of environmental analysis is needed. So will be ample opportunity to discuss this project in public as far as the Planning Commission goes, and as a part of any sort of environmental review process that's included as part of the proposed project. And with that, that wraps up Director's comments.
Okay, just a quick question on the Alisal Glen letters. Have they been shared with the developer?
They have not been shared with the developer. They have been shared with the city council, though.
Okay.
Could you just walk us through, and again, this could be me being a little naive or new, but what the procedure is on that? Because it seems like from a standpoint of actually making a project roll smoothly, if those could be shared with the developer as soon as they come in, perhaps there would be better engagement with the community. Is there a reason as to why they aren't shared until there's an application in?
We don't typically share those comments because they're directed to the city, not the applicant. They're specifically directed to the city staff and it's particularly in this project, they're directed for an analysis and not to fast-tracked an environmental review. So those are decisions those are city staff decisions, not necessarily the applicant.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
It does answer the question. I mean, I think there's still some, it seems like some of the feedback, I mean, if it filtered through the city, I don't know how to say this correctly, that there might be just a little better from a communication standpoint if those could be shared sooner rather than later. But I mean,
some of them were addressed to the applicant, and I don't want to dive into very much detail simply because that is an item that will come before the Planning Commission.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. Well, any other comments from? Okay, then meeting's adjourned at 6:34. Wow.
All right.